gentlemen, we're going to rip the lid off the building here tonight to begin things.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome.
Lid off the industry. A new era is born.
Man, I'm still not used to that chant, but I appreciate it. Toledo, Ohio! It is rainy, it is cold, it is nasty out there. But let's get it hot up in here, shall we?
Adam Copeland, the Canadian wrestler professionally known by the ring name Edge, is among the most controversial and iconic wrestlers who have ever entered a WWE ring. He has won 30 championships, including the WWE, Intercontinental, Tag Team and World Heavyweight Championships. To wrestling fans everywhere, he's also known by the names of the Rated R Superstar, Mr. Money in the Bank, etc. Throughout his whole career, Edge has experienced everything, taken every risk, and done everything. A Royal Rumble victory, championship titles, injuries, one of which regrettably forced his retirement, and several memorable fights come along with the career. Edge became one of the WWE's most adored or despised superstars. Edge's ascent to wrestling acclaim was legendary. Rivals arrived with the evolution of Edge. Edge and his competitors produced unforgettable moments in the WWE, whether it was during his early conflicts with Edge vs. Christian and the Hardy Boys, or his final feud with Alberto Del Rio. When Edge defeated The Undertaker to win the World Heavyweight Championship, their rivalry with Batistuta truly got going. The Rated R period started when Batista decided to challenge Edge for his World Heavyweight Championship. When Judgment Day pay-per-view initially aired in 2007, Edge and Batista were introduced to one another. Edge would beat Batista, but their conflict continued. Later in 2007, Edge and Batista would clash inside a steel cage at Vengeance. Edge triumphed once more, escaping from the Animal and the steel prison this time. Edge had a pectoral muscle injury after Vengeance 2007, which caused him to miss some time. Edge and Batista's rivalry was suspended, but only temporarily. Batista refocused his attention on Edge after his comeback and his conflict with The Undertaker, as the latter was now the new owner of the World Heavyweight Championship. Edge had already assembled La Familia at this point, which included Chevero Guerrero, Vicky Guerrero, Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, but the Animal, Batista, would soon become a problem for La Familia. Batista once more went after Edge for the belt. Edge ran on the Raw program from June 30, 2008, which prompted Batista to attack Edge and drop the Batista bomb in the ring. The competition between the Rated R Superstar and the Animal was over. Edge suffered a taste of his own medicine after Batista brutally attacked him, and CM Punk decided to terminate Edge's Money in the Bank contract. In a victory over Edge, Punk was crowned the new champion on Monday Night Raw. Edge would go to SmackDown to handle other matters while Batista stayed on Raw. How many wrestlers can lay claim to having won King of the Ring, the Royal Rumble, and Money in the Bank? The reply is not many. In fact, Edge entered the history books of the WWE many times, making him the first professional wrestler to accomplish this incredible feat. Nowadays, audiences have a rather poor perception of the part-time wrestler. A large part of that is attributable to athletes like Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, who have constantly won world championships in the WWE without really having to work for them. Additionally, part-timers are seen negatively, even though they are typically more beneficial than harmful. That is actually made possible by the time off. And yet, the Royal Rumble was just won by a part-time wrestler. Edge, aka the Rated R Superstar, is that wrestler. But when it comes to part-time prospecting for gold, everything already feels different this time. Here are several reasons why Edge stands out from other WWE part-time wrestlers and why he might end up breaking the pattern in the future. In order to grasp the type of performance Edge will be in concluding chapter, you don't need to go all that far in the past. It seemed as though he had gone all the way back when he made a comeback at the Royal Rumble in 2020. He wrestled for about 20 minutes in the Rumble before being defeated, which was a tremendous performance. He then let the world know he was actually returned the fight on Raw. That same night, Edge's rivalry with Randy Orton officially began when Orton hit him with a con chair 2, referring to an inactive going forward. It wasn't until he returned about a month later that it became obvious he would compete in WrestleMania 36, in the strangest setting ever. But what we received in the lead-up was some of Edge's best promotional work. He pulled aside the curtain, glared at the camera, and transported the admirers all around the world into the action. He and Orton fought for 36 minutes at WrestleMania 36 before concluding. Part-timers weren't working that shift. Then they took even longer when they were supposed to have the greatest wrestling match ever at Backlash. Precisely 44 minutes and 45 seconds. No longer did anyone in WWE engage in this kind of match. Most main event matches lasted no more than 30 or 40 minutes at most. He was back and making every effort to let everyone know it. Unfortunately, an injury postponed what might have happened next for the Rated R Superstar. However, it wasn't hard to see why he valued this. To dispel the idea that he was an amateur wrestler and that he wasn't like the others. and it is very obvious from the most recent return and remarks that he intends to continue altering how fans view part-timers going ahead. Before the 2021 Royal Rumble, Edge made his way back from injury on The Raw to announce that he was not only competing, but that he was also going to win. He was expected to enter at number 1, which made it look like a difficult goal for him to accomplish. But he prevailed as a real ultimate opportunist of the WWE. For Edge, who finished the race in 58 minutes and 27 seconds, this was yet another achievement. He has 3 of the most outstanding performances in the history of WWE in his comeback. In an interview with CBS Sports following his victory at the Royal Rumble, he made it obvious to the world what his objectives are now that he's fully recovered. "I didn't come back to just do a greatest hits tour," Edge said. Whether it be Lesnar, Goldberg, or The Undertaker, the remark is almost a jab at all the other part-timers. Edge has made it abundantly obvious that that's not his intention. He wants to be present to share these tales with the new stars. Many of those causes could be among them. First off, his injury made it impossible for him to call it quits on his terms. He wants to accomplish it this time and give it as much as he can. He's also a great passion for professional wrestling, which is another factor. When it comes to wrestling expertise and storytelling abilities, in comparison to today, he is almost impeccable. Edge's efforts to break the mold are understandable, given that this is a foundation of who he is. The realization that he doesn't view himself as a part-timer can cause you to believe it if you haven't already. Edge thinks he is all in despite what his fans they call him. Here are his comments on from an interview he gave the Bleacher Report. Edge declared, "I don't consider myself a part-timer." The evidence is already in place. On Monday Night Raw, he competed in a contest of wrestling. Ever since his 2012 comeback, Brock Lesnar has not done that. His only appearance on television was a 10-second WWE Championship bout on SmackDown against Kofi Kingston. Edge has no issue with carrying out his plans. And, in light of that, the stereotype of part-timer has a new significance. Edge is regarded as one of the greatest WWE performers of all time and is greatly admired. He never failed to deliver spectacular performances that had the audience on their feet, whether it was his success when he cleaned up, capturing all the gold in the organization, or his epic tag battles alongside his real-life closest friend, Christian. It is vital to learn more about the man behind the rated R superstar persona. Even though everyone can see and appreciate his accomplishments, thanks to YouTube highlights and WWE Network, replays of his earlier matches. He would constantly enter with the phrase, "You think you know me." There may be a few things you don't know though. Here's an interesting fact. Edge's unwavering devotion to wrestling is beyond question. He has frequently spoken in public about his love of the profession and the desire to indulge in passion, even though he was not actively working on it. To demonstrate this, one simply needs to consider the fact that he was willing to risk harming himself once more by returning after his initial retirement. But, as he admitted to IGN, his 2 first interests were comic books and heavy metal. That's all for now. For more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for reading. See you in the next video.